Okay, wanted to go over the water-soluble graphite. And I talked with a few artists recently, and my mom kind of just wanted to show her what I do, because I did learn through some trial and error. So all my tools are kind of old, but like this is what the most basic crayon looks like. These come in sets of 3 for the most part. One's like a 2, 4, and a 6, and the other one's like a 8, 10, and 12. All of them are pretty much unusable except for like the 6 and the 8B. Once you get to the 10, it's too dark, and the lighter ones really don't work very well. In water-soluble products, you're constantly dealing with that they just don't work very well. So there's 2 products that work great, and then there's other products that you can get to work under certain circumstances. These art graph bars are sold separately, and then they have these little 6-packs and some other type of things. I've seen some of their other alternative products, not super happy with them, but these are great. Any of the colored water-soluble crayons, it's mixed results. So this is especially good for figure drawing, because you can get your figure out, really quick. If you only have 60 seconds, and then you go, and I'm going to show you. So I have a little thing of water right here. I usually have a little cup, a little tub, and then this is another trick here, is that I buy this cotton sheeting, and this is for like if you have a broken arm, they wrap this underneath your cast, and there's a few different versions of this, but try to get it as cheap as you can. The thing about this is paper towels don't work that great. I don't know if it's really graphite, but the product gets wrapped up in whatever you're using. So like I go through a bunch of this in a session. I'll use a little bit, I'll get some more, especially if I want light colors. So I kind of dip it in there, get just a little bit, squeeze it out. Now this is a regular paper, so it's going to buckle somewhat. Honestly, like that's usually all I get. I'm taking too much time as it is. And that's the 6B, which isn't quite dark enough, but you can see how nice the complexity is, right? You already have shade. It's nice and gradient. So let's move on to, I'm going to move on to these aquagraphs. This, if I had the, I think it's the 8B, it would be fantastic. And these aquagraphs, I think that this one's too dark for the most part, but if you're not using color, it's okay to use it, and you just go really contrasty. And actually, we'll do that first. This is what you want to do when you first get it, is you just want to draw a circle, get a little bit of that product on there, and then get a little bit wet, squeeze it out. And now I don't keep wiping because I will continue to make it dark, and I want a little bit of gradient. So I turn it over to get a little bit of a lighter thing. Now, that is fantastic. And if you don't understand why this is so fantastic and how short of a time, and even without a time consideration, you have so much organic beauty and chaos going on in here. When we get into drawing with pencils and little lines, we just make these little over-controlled mistakes that look very, very human. And when we make art, we are trying to get a constant flow state of happy accidents. Okay, so let's go. So normally when I've been working recently, I'll go to it's like a light brown, and then I'll go in for light color and then a red. I'll show you what that looks like. So we're gonna say the lady's like this. She's sitting on a bench. There's her rib cage. There's her legs. We're gonna say she has some boobs too. Well, then we're gonna do her lips, but in a different color. Then we're gonna take the reddish one. We're gonna put nips on there. We're gonna give her lips. Let's make her a redhead. Now put that on the joints, maybe where the butt is, that kind of thing. And then I'm gonna go back in there with this light white one. get this. We really need to be switching to a more quality paper at this point, a little bit thicker, but we're gonna keep going. So I get a little water, and I already started, like most new drawings, I get a new piece of joint, unless I'm just going for black. And when you are doing, it's great to just force this and get yourself on a timer, 60 seconds, because I make great pieces in 60 seconds. You're not going to get a whole lot of detail, I will say that. Let's say she's on a bench, and then we sign it. Okay, let's keep moving. Because, if you were someone that couldn't see very well and had arthritis or something, this would get you really beautiful pieces without a whole lot of time and bodily strain. So I'm going to skip straight to the good stuff. This is Master's Touch watercolor. I would not use a more expensive paper unless you're selling in a museum. And with this stuff, this is still pretty pricey. I will, let's see if you're on the shot there. Wait until they have their 40% off and then go get some. And then it's not too bad. And you can go on both sides with this. So I go in there with, what is a darker one? Okay. Okay, we'll go back in with this. Now, with this paper, we can start getting into some of the other products. Like, I have these, they're like Canarchi water-soluble something rather, so I don't even know what they're called. Let's see what they're called. Karan Dacha Neo Color. Finest water-soluble painting. They are not the finest, I gotta say. They're not doing a great job. But with this, so if you try these things on a lighter paper, it just won't work at all. And it's because you need to be like rubbing it with that water and that cotton. And with this, this paper just, it works a little bit more with rubbing. And it still doesn't set down the same way as these other two products that I showed. And then let's give her I don't know. Let's give her a purple like dress so we're not showing nudity. Okay, there's her purple dress. And then, so we don't want to use that. We'll use the other side of that cotton. And there you go. And it's just real wonderful it's like an exposure of a photograph when you're going in there and working those colors. And yeah, with that crayon stuff, you got to rub at it, but it does, on regular paper, you just don't get that color at all, and it's very unsatisfying. So I can't go, if you want to, like, you can use this to your advantage, but it will stay the same color. We can give her a little bit of lips. It's like not too bright. Yeah, not real great on the lips. Let's go down there, make the bottom of her feet a little bit red, and then we're going to turn it over to our higher power right there on the outside. Okay, so then recovery. Okay, and then now we need to go to the blue, which I really need to get on those lighter colors. If you don't want them to get overwhelmed, you really need to go in with a fresh piece and try to stay off the other ones. And this works really good if you have this thicker paper, but it is completely worthless on a thinner paper. You see I bled over a little bit with that other color. It's okay to have a little bit. Still was a lot. And you can actually get this to work to your favor. There's not enough down there. So we're going to take an old one that already has a bunch of shit on it, color, and mix that in. You see the paper starting to buckle, even though it's pretty thick stuff. I will say you can also, when you're with this, you can do some other things. You've got, let's see here. You can go into some of these markers that are like, what are these called? Water-based markers. I've used some alcohol-based inks with some interesting results. I'll show you some of those. And I will say I haven't had great results because it contrasts a little bit too much. This has a wonderful classical look. It's very organic, and when you get those markers in there, it really just doesn't. It clashes. So you need to be using those mediums as contrast, either in their content or it's a clear, visible line, or it looks like you were trying to fix your own screw up. So this needs to dry for a little bit, but you can totally go on the back and let's see if we can get something else here. You know what? Okay, I got an idea. Let's do this. So we're gonna go in there with, who took our stuff? There it is, our stuff. We're still recording, by the way. Yeah, we are. Okay, let's do this. With this, because I know I can't really get the face real great. I think if I use like some, oh my god, the neighbors just got home. Please don't come talk to me. I think if I use some Q-tips, like I have some animal Q-tips, they're like very large Q-tips. Something that I could thin up, like I think I could get a few more details. It's just usually when I'm using these, for me, let's see, and then let's have this one go down, be her knee. Where'd the other one go? It's art, we don't need another leg. All right. Okay, real quick, just that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, because I'm usually doing this like super fast because I'm using it in life drawing. I really don't have a need for a lot of detail. And if I have time with it, I'll use like one of the markers or something, or the pens. What do we want to do here? We want to get some color. I will say there's also these, and I had this in a turquoise, and this Stario or something. This has the same issue, is that it needs to be on a quality piece of paper, and that one is white, and it doesn't work super great. So we want to use one of these blues. A lot of the colors don't work real great, or you're not actually going to need them. So it's they like very stark kind of uses of those. So we're going to use some of this turquoise to make another dress. Should we? No, let's make the red in there and let that bleed. No, we're going to do it on the outside. I want to show you something. One of my most used colors since being in recovery is mixing a magenta and some kind of ochre / yellow brown and getting that nice mix in between. And I'll show you how I get that with these. I just stumbled onto it recently. And this only works with like a paper like this. It absolutely won't work any other way. And I'm using it the same way that I did when I found it originally in watercolor. And, with it only worked with like the Archie's paper with a really nice Daniel Smith watercolor, and putting it on real heavy, putting a bunch of water, and then letting it organically mix together. All right, so we're going to put that there, and then we're just going to do our quick border of this yellow, and we'll see that magic happening in a little bit here. So what else do we want on her? We want a little bit of red. We want a little bit of red on the elbow, and I put that on there to just roughly signify a little bit of a cartoony way that there is some blood and change of skin around the joints. Yeah, we're just gonna go dark to get some contrast. I swear to God, these people are walking around when I'm filming. All right, we're gonna get that. Just do real lightly. Try not to mix it with the other colors so you can see the red. Get it right there. So as usual, by the time I'm doing a demonstration, like I've had some experience in the medium, and like I'm gonna come back to that for the background. Get a fresh piece for the blue. What I would really suggest is less is more in the beginning. Start with that circle, see how it is. Don't use any of your colors, just use one color for some time. That like black, just get the black crayon. Don't go spend $1 million. Once you get a little bit worked up on this paper with the cotton, these crayons were like fantastic. Some of the colors at least. That blue just looks great. And then what I'll do a little bit is put some on those joints, because where there's blood, there is blue, and it's not just red. All right, looks fantastic. Okay, then let's go back. Let's get in this background color magic. See, that kind of worked up on the cotton. Kind of get that mixed in. This is really going to buckle the paper. You're going to watch where you put it afterwards if you're moving on to something else. It's going to want to curl up like a lobster tail in a boiling thing. I should have clipped it down probably, but we won't do that type of title. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, the problem with a lot of like the watercolor pencils, water soluble products is that you just don't lose enough of the original marking. You don't get any of this painting thing that you're hoping for in the first place. And you kind of want a little bit of both. I love when the marking is mostly gone. So there you have it. You may want to put a little, because that's kind of the light now. You may want to put a little bit of that. Make some of that red just on the sides there, like it's a little highlight. And she looks depressed as all bejesus, doesn't she? Yes. Happy accidents. Well, that's all, folks. Hope you enjoyed.